John and Aaron? All right, Gary, you got the last thing plugged into the camera?
We're good.
All right. Well, we will call the Center County Board of Commissioners to order here at 10:01. Those who are able, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Do we have any public comment for items not appearing on today's agenda? All right. Don't see anything. Do we have any additions to the agenda from the commissioners this morning? No? I'm aware. All right. Move on to the meeting minutes. Did we need any changes to the meeting minutes? No. All right. We have a motion then.
I'll move to approve the minutes from the meetings held April 25th and May 2nd, 2023.
We have a motion and a second to approve the minutes from the meetings of April 25th and May 2nd. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Great. Now we will move on to our proclamations. May is a busy month for those. We have two today. Proclamation number 20 is proclaiming the 15th to the 21st as Police Week and May 17th as Peace Officers Memorial Day. And we have Sheriff Samsel here. And at least one of your deputies,
Chief Deputy Weaver.
Chief Weaver, to speak on the topic, wherever you're more comfortable.
I'll stand. Next week, Wednesday, May 17th, Center County's Law Enforcement Memorial Ceremony in front of the courthouse in Bellefonte at 12 noon, where we honor 245 men and women who gave their lives in service of protection of fellow citizens last year. Their selfless acts of courage were especially demonstrated without hesitation time and time again in 2022. This ceremony stands as a reminder that every hour and every day of every year, those men and women who take the responsibility for the safety of society. We do this job quietly and professionally with everyone's eyes on us to perform this task, this very difficult job, knowing might well this might be our last day. Every one of us in law enforcement made the commitment knowing full well that someday we may require making the ultimate sacrifice. Please join us next week on Wednesday, May 17th at noon in front of the courthouse as we pay special honor to those who gave their lives in 2022. It's a great ceremony. Last year I hosted. This year it's going to be Chief John Petrick from Ferguson Township as the MC. And then it's a good service. It lasts about 45 minutes to an hour. It honors the men and women. We read all the names of the men and women who gave their life last year in the line of duty. So to us, it means a lot to us. So.
Thank you, Sheriff. Does the Chief have anything to add?
Really, I mean, if you've never been to one, it's a very somber.
Oh, can you come up to the microphone? The cameras can't hear you.
Yeah, sorry about that. If you've never been to one, it's a very sombering event. I mean, there's usually tears shown. We appreciate if you can make it.
Thanks. And I think Commissioner Dersham and I made the last several years, and if you don't have another meeting scheduled, recommend it for Commissioner Concepcion. Good.
Second one since COVID, we took a 2-year hiatus because they did kind of online videos.
Yeah.
That's meaningful to us. So we plan to start planning for this in January, February. We have the bagpiper, we get the bagpiper, we get honor guard from the
Yeah.
DOC. It's a magnitude event to put together.
And they'll be reading the list of fallen officers from last year.
Read every one of the names, 245. And we get through them pretty quickly. Last year was a little longer. We didn't do all the COVID names because there was over 500 the last 2 years. So we chose not to read the COVID names because it is so. We'd have been there for probably 3 hours to just read names. So, but it's a very sombering event, and we appreciate anyone that can attend to this. Enjoy the day, and not enjoy the day, but remember the day with us.
Great. Well, if the two of you would like to come up, we'll present the proclamation.
Should we do the motion?
Oh, I'm
first?
sorry. I'm moving along too fast again today.
Okay.
Can we have a motion to proclaim May 15th through the 21st as Police Week and May 17th as Peace Officers Memorial Day?
I'll move to adopt Proclamation 20 of 2023, proclaiming May 15th to the 21st, 2023, as Police Week and May 17th, 2023, as Peace Officers Memorial Day in Center County.
And I will proudly second that.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. All right.
I would just like to say thank you to not only your staff and your service, but the law enforcement officers throughout this country that keep us safe every day. It's a tough job, and sometimes it's a thankless job, and I don't think people realize that you take your lives into your hands every day, and it's just an amazing thing to see the dedication of the law enforcement professionals throughout our region. And just want to say thank you and appreciate everything that you've done. And I'm looking forward very much to coming to the ceremony and recognizing everybody's service. And it's a moving moment. And I want to thank you for putting this
Appreciate that.
together.
And I'll just add one more thing. When we responded a few weeks ago, the so-called active shooter event at Belfont High School, I was there, one of the first ones there, probably the first 5 or 6 there. Within 10 minutes, 15 minutes, there were 75 officers in that school, so this shows the dedication
Yes.
in this area of law enforcement. It was it's a bond with us, and it's fabulous. I mean, it's incredible to see that many amount of people there, officers there, just, thinking it was a real event, and just to, that's a selfless act. They're there because they know they could be wounded or killed during that. So let's just throw it out there.
I'd like to echo all of Commissioner Dersham's comments as well, and knowing that, you're running towards danger, and the gravity of that, and you've got a wife and kids at home, and the sacrifice they're making too, for all of the officers who are protecting our community, that their families as well. They're making a sacrifice, so.
They do.
Yeah, the local law enforcement response during that incident was a credit to all of the local law enforcement offices, the fast response, the thoroughness, just a darn good thing it wasn't for real.
And you mentioned that a few weeks ago in a meeting, but I just wanted to echo that's what represents next Wednesday, so, yeah. Thank you.
Thanks.
Where's the service going to be again?
At the courthouse at noon.
Courthouse.
Yep, at 12 noon. Starts right at noon. As soon as the bell dings, we're gonna start it up, so. That's usually our cue to start this.
Yes. Very good.
Thank you.
All right, we ready to present the
Sure.
proclamation? Why don't we have the two of you hold that?
We were buckled with
You want me to take this with you then?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You want us to read that?
Yeah, you're on there to read it.
Oh, good.
Okay. We have you in the schedule. See you later. Thank you.
Thanks. All right, and now we have something that's huge for the many hundred different nonprofits here in Center County. We have our proclamation number 21 will proclaim the 10th through 11th of this month as Center Gives Day in Center County. We have Molly Kunkel, the Executive Director of Center Foundation, here to tell us more about it.
Hi, thank you so much for this proclamation. We are so excited. Center Foundation once again is putting on Center Gives starting tomorrow at 8 a.m. So we started this event in 2012, and since then have put back collectively $14.6 million into the community. So it's a great event, online giving event, 36 hours. So it runs from 8 a.m. tomorrow to 8 p.m. on Thursday. And over 200 nonprofits are participating, so anyone in the community can log onto the site, centergives.org, give a donation. The minimum donation is only $10, so anyone in the community can participate. And those donations are stretched by a stretch pool of over $300,000. So every gift has an additional bit put on it, so it gains a little bit more from the stretch pool, as well as makes the organizations eligible for over $40,000 worth of prize grants that go back to the organizations. So all of that money goes back into the community to help our local nonprofits do the amazing work that they do out in our community. So we're thrilled to be doing that. And last year, we started our first live event to sort of finish the event, and this year we're holding that in Talleyrand Park. It's going to be bigger and better than ever, and thankfully, it looks like it's going to be a beautiful day. So we have over 30 organizations coming to participate. There'll be activities, live music during the whole period, so from 5:30 to 9. At 8 o'clock, there'll be a big announcement of what the total was and a celebration, and then people can stick around a little bit to listen to some music and just help us celebrate. So we hope that everybody comes out Thursday evening at Talleyrand as well. You can make donations while you're there, or you can make donations ahead of time. So we are really excited and honored to be doing this for the community again.
Thanks, Molly. Thanks for coming. It's a wonderful operation. As you mentioned, it is not only a way for the charities to raise money directly, but there's the stretch pool, the bonus prizes on top of that. And you're up, you said over 200 charities now?
Yep. So it's.
That is a lot of charities.
It is. It is. There's a lot of great work. It's nice, and it's fun to go to the site. Certainly support the charities you already support, but also just look at the list of organizations and all the amazing work people do in this community, because it's really impressive.
It is. Commissioner Concepcion?
Yeah, thank you for all your work. It's, I've participated with a number of nonprofits that participate in Center Gives, and it's just, it really highlights how much we have an enormous volunteer corps in our community that is really taking care of so many different kinds of needs. And this organization, this event particularly, supporting all of those voluntary efforts. So, thank you.
Thank you.
200.
200.
That's amazing. That's a big, this is going to be a big shot in the arm to a lot of organizations that make a big difference in our lives here in Center County. So thank you for all the, I know it's a lot of work getting ready for it and probably organizing it afterwards and figuring out who gets what and when. So
Right.
thank you for all that, because it means a lot to us.
Yeah, it's a great event, and I have a great staff that does all that work, so I can come out and just stand here and say thank you to everybody. So it's,
Well done. Give them our best.
all right, thank you.
Well, and thanks again, Molly, for all the charities and amazing projects that Center Foundation supports annually throughout Center County. Oftentimes people, they just need a little extra to get them over the top. They make a call to your organization and you tend to find a way. So we all appreciate that.
Do what we can to help, yeah.
Thanks. We have a motion?
I move to approve Proclamation 21 of 2023, proclaiming May 10th and 11th, 2023, as Center Gives Days in Center County.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor of adopting Proclamation 21, proclaiming the 10th and 11th of May as Center Gives Day in Center County, do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, pose nay, motion carries. Come on up, Molly.
Gary has a question.
Gary has a
Gary has a
question.
The first year, yeah, I believe it was about 60, 65, somewhere in that range. I don't remember specifically, but it was in the range of 60.
I imagine in earlier years, some people were wondering how the event would be. It's obviously been so successful,
Yeah.
which has led to more folks joining on.
Yep, absolutely, absolutely. We didn't quite know what to expect. Other giving days had happened around the country, and we thought we would try it here. We actually had a breakfast to kind of kick it off that day, so had a number of donors. We were all together when the site went live, and I remember we were all sitting there watching the gifts come in and just being amazed. And even that year, and it's grown so much more since then, so it's been great.
Potential donors, because we all watch, do you tell them just to get in early, or some, do you just donate early is best? Or?
No, there really doesn't matter whether it's early or late. You can, if you have a particular organization you are working with, you can see if they're trying to compete. There are prize hours throughout the event, and during those prize hours, organizations compete for, again, an additional grant that goes on top of what they're making, and that's based on the number of donors that donate during that hour to each organization. So if you have an organization that you want to support, you might check and see if they're asking you to donate during a particular time. Other than that, there's no advantage to donating if you're going to be busy the rest of the time, you can get on at 8 a.m. and make all your donations, and then you're done and just watch the fun the rest of the time. Or you can wait, if you want to wait and come to the party at Center Gives Fest on Thursday night and donate while you're there. Of course, we'll have iPads, you can do it on your phone, so you could do it that way. Doesn't really matter when during the 36 hours, other than trying to support organizations during the prize hours.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thanks. Come on up, Molly, and let's, present this.
Thank you so much. Thanks so much. Thank you so much. This is great.
Stop down on Thursday.
Yes,
Yes.
absolutely.
Things under
We'd love to
control
see
then.
you.
There we go. We'd love to be there.
So now Jen has a resolution, number 7 of 2023, adopting tax claim and tax collections fee schedules, which I don't think have been updated in a while.
Good morning, thank you. Yes, Resolution 7 of 2023, we'd like to add to that this year where the Center County Sheriff's Office will collaborate with the Center County Tax Claim Bureau to provide personal service related to the upset sale and judicial sales at a rate of $100 per person per parcel. So he has agreed that they will do for any unclaimed and returned to claims that are undeliverable certified mail, that the sheriff's office will go out and visit those people to get signatures for us for our upset sale, so that we are following the guidelines of the law.
That's helpful. Thanks, Sheriff. Appreciate that. Yep.
We are also asking to increase our fees from last year to this year. Our return to claim certified mailing fee due to postage increases from $20 to $25. And then the return to claim certified mail fee from $20 to $25. Our posting company will be increasing from 50 to 55 and then 60 for 2024, but that's on our next item. The upset sale pre-registration fee will go up from $20 to $25, non-refundable. And then, of course, the sheriff office fees for personal service at $100 will be added.
All right. I notice there are a number of other fees that we've actually been able to keep steady as well.
Yes, yes.
Any questions, Commissioner Concepcion? Commissioner Dershowitz?
Well, I don't think a lot of people appreciate what it is that this involves, and that is a very specific set of guidelines that you have to follow and a specific set of rules that you have to follow to make sure that everybody's properly notified about the upset sale, the judicial sales, and just how important it is to make sure that those notifications occur, correctly and timely.
Correct. And some parcels have more than one person that are involved that may not know that it's in the tax claim department. So that's why we're making a more diligent effort to make sure that everybody is covered in the notification if anything is going out onto the sales.
You've done a great job of keeping everything straight. That's a tough assignment, so thank you.
Thank you.
Lots and lots of details. All right, unless there's any other questions, I think we'll take a motion to adopt the resolution.
I'll move to adopt Resolution 7 of 2023.
We have a motion and a second to adopt adopt resolution number 7 of 2023. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. All right, thanks. And now Jen will stay up there because we're now moving to contracts, and tax claim has a contract amendment with Palmetto Posting.
Yes, the contract is remaining the same, other than the fees for posting. They are increasing $5 per year per parcel, so that's where we increased ours, $5 a year to collaborate with that. So I'm just asking to approve the amendment for me to sign the agreement for 2020 fee. The fees will be going from $25 to $30, and then they will increase to $35 for 2024.
Great. thanks. Any questions for Jen on the contract amendment? No? All right, we'll take a motion then.
I'll move to approve the contract amendment with Palmetto Posting Incorporated.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor of approving the contract amendment do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Great. Thanks, Jen.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Now we'll move over to John with 3 items from the commissioners.
Thank you. So before you are 3 grant agreements for 3 different pools that have requested funding for improvements. The first one is consideration of approval of an ARPA grant agreement with the Nittany Valley Joint Recreation Authority to be used towards the Kepler Pool Rehabilitation and Improvement Project. And this one's in the amount of $110,000 to assist with the grant match requirements of other funding sources that they have secured. The project includes all infrastructure, capital type improvements that include decking, chemical systems, bathhouse, pool amenities, parking, and an ADA changing area. Do you want-
Thanks, John. Maybe I'll handle the next one.
Sure.
All right. We also have 2 visitors here from the Penns Valley Park and Recreation Board, Colleen and Michelle. If you'd like to come up, you can either sit at the chairs or at the podium, wherever you're more comfortable. But the pool at the Soldiers and Sailors Memorial Park is a bit of a hidden gem. It's just off Route 45, but you'd never know it's there. So-
The sign's only about this big.
Yes. So-
You're past it before you see it.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about the pool and what you might be using the grant for?
The pool is about 52 years old. It's one of the original sort of like Kepler pool. It's one of the old concrete pools with the fiberglass overlay, whatever. Concrete, as we know, doesn't have a 100-year life, so the concrete's deteriorating. The pool is deteriorating. It's honestly, baler twine and duct tape is what's keeping us going. So it needs a lot of repairs. It's almost to its life. But we think with some additional funding that we can throw at it this year to do some small upgrades and patches and those kinds of things, that it'll get us through this season and probably next season as we look to find really large grants, to replace these public pools, community pools.
Great. Did you have anything else you wanted to add? No? All right.
Pretty much said it all.
All right. And so this is a grant in the amount of $25,000, and it'll be utilized toward the patching and painting, the concrete deck repair, the maintenance of the pump and filtration system, and more permanent pool lighting improvements as well. Great. Well, thank you very much for coming. Any questions from the press on the second pool? No? Great. Well, thanks again for coming, and always a nice place to hang out just off of downtown Millheim.
Yeah, come visit us.
Yes.
So we come out every summer for the Central Pennsylvania Swim League meets.
Okay.
So I've had kids doing swim team at Park Forest Pool for years, and we've always really enjoyed the meets out at Penns Valley because the food is the best. The burgers
That's
are
what
the
we've
best.
heard.
The
That's what we've
pretzels.
heard.
Yes. Yeah. And it's just a great atmosphere, that forms this really great community there for families and kids to have someplace to gather. And it's just this community center that's really critical. So thanks for all you do.
Thanks for utilizing us.
Yeah.
Great. Thanks for coming. And then we have a third one. Maybe do you want to kick it off, John,
Sure.
and I'll finish it?
Sure. So for the third consideration of approval is for an ARPA agreement with the Mountaintop Swimming Pool Association. And this is again towards capital improvements to the swimming pool in the amount of $25,000. Funding would be used for new diving boards, painting and patching of the large pool, and then patching of their baby pool.
And we did receive an email from Jennifer Nastis, who I know has poured her heart and soul into the Mountaintop Pool. She says, on the behalf of the Mountaintop Area Swimming Pool, we're grateful for this grant to kick off their 2023 year to replace the diving boards and patch and paint the large pool. and also do some repairs to the baby pool, which has been a major attraction in the past. The Mountaintop Area Swimming Pool gives the children and families in the area an oasis for the past 54 years, just about the same age as the Milheim Pool, probably the same kind of technology, I would suspect. And they hope it'll continue. They still have many improvements and upgrades, just like the Milheim Pool. But this does give them a great start, and Jennifer says, thanks again for your help. So were there any additional comments, Commissioner Concepcion?
Just a note about how important community pools are, because it provides a place for kids to learn to swim, and that is a life safety skill. It's really important to their safety, their whole lives, to be able to have an opportunity to learn to swim.
Commissioner Durr?
And it's a lot of fun, too. Having grown up in this area and been to all three of these pools as a kid growing up, it is fantastic. And I know some people wonder, it's like, you know, they just assume that these pools are self-generating, you know, money machines, and they don't realize that periodically we need to help them out. And I would like to say another opportunity, and I think Amber sits on the board now, is through the Happy Valley Adventure Bureau. We have a grant program through that may also be a possibility for funding for projects in the future. So, and I know we've helped the Mountaintop Pool out
Yes.
in the past with that, and I would like to extend that same invitation to all three, because we need to get these pools back up. It's such a great socialization, recreation, physical fitness. It's all those things, and most importantly, it's just such a community anchor that we need to support. So, thanks.
Great point, Steve. These are community anchors that involve the recreation, the social community, even sometimes a little bit of economic development. I know that the Milheim Pool has traditionally sponsored I think it's called a sprint triathlon, which brings a lot of people to the area. The pool up in the Mountaintop is right next door to the campground, and it's considered something of an amenity to the campground. And, of course, the Nittany Valley Joint Recreation Authority Kepler Pool has a service area of about 30,000 people, and it's been sorely missed. And so we're hoping that with some additional support here from the commissioners to match grants, that they can pull those grants down and hopefully get started this year if at all possible.
That
Yeah.
was a big lift.
That was a very big lift. That one's multi-millions. Any questions from the press on the topic?
Matching grants from the state. Where else do you see your money from? These are kind of like seed money, or where you get these other grants for the pools, is what you're talking about?
Well, with the Kepler Pool, those grants were already in place, but they needed the local match to actually pull them down. And after a lot of conversation back and forth, they're like, look, we're $110,000 short. We really need $110,000 like in the next couple weeks. And so the commissioners stepped up and said, this is vitally important to families, to children, for safety, to Commissioner Concepcion's point. We are in the process of allocating the remainder of our American Rescue Plan funds. We'll find you the $110,000. With the Milheim Pool and the Mountaintop Pools, first, they need this money right away. At the Mountaintop Pool, there wouldn't be diving boards this year if it wasn't for the commissioner's contribution. But yes, these funds can also be used as grant match for the Happy Valley Adventure Bureau program and for state grants, since you can match different levels of government grants for local money.
Thank you.
Thanks. Any other questions? All right. We have a motion now.
Move to approve the American Rescue Plan Grant Agreements 1, 2, and 3 pending solicitor review.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor of approving the American Rescue Plan grants to the three area nonprofit pools, do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Great. Well, thanks for coming, Colleen and Michelle. You can stay if you want, but you're probably busy people. You can also go.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming. And Julia will come up with several contracts.
Morning. The first contract I'm asking for is the approval of a contract with Service Access and Management Incorporated to provide administrative assistance to the Emergency Solutions Grant Homeless Prevention Program through the Adult Office of Adult Services. Grant total is $96,014.50. It's entirely a federal grant. Essentially, what we're asking for is for this to allow SAM Inc. to be able to cut checks to landlords and to utility companies for the families that they're able to serve through adult services.
So they'll be handling the fiscal paperwork side of it.
Correct.
They don't get to keep the 96,000.
No.
They'd be dispersing it.
Yes.
All right. Commissioner Concepcion, any questions?
That explanation was helpful. That went to my question.
Commissioner Dershowitz? Good to go. All right. We have a motion then.
Move to add the contract with Service Access and Management, Inc. to next week's consent agenda.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor of approving the contract with Service Access and Management, do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Great. And Julia's up here again for a contract addendum with the MHIDEI Drug and Alcohol for Peer Star.
Yes, so I'm asking for approval for this contract addendum to essentially increase the contract total that we have from $3,500 to $4,500. This increase will allow Peer Star to continue to cover existing services through June 30th. And Peer Star allows people with lived experience, gives them specific training to be able to provide support through the individuals through MHIDEI and DNA.
Great. Sounds like a good program. Glad we can extend it. Commissioner Concepcion, questions?
Good.
Commissioner Dershowitz? All good. All right.
Move to add the contract addendum number 1 with Peer Star LLC to next week's consent agenda.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Great. Thanks, Julia. All right. We have our consent agenda from last week. I don't think there were any changes from the solicitor on those. We have a motion then.
Move to approve this week's consent agenda.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor of approving this week's consent agenda do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. All right. Now we move on to our authorities, boards, and commissions. We have a resignation by Linda Meek from our Drug and Alcohol Planning Council. We'd like to thank Linda. She served on the board for almost 2.5 years. Can we have a motion to approve her resignation?
I'll move to approve the ABC resignation of Linda Meek from the Drug and Alcohol Planning Council.
Have a motion and a second. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. And now we'll move to Commissioner Concepcion for the check run.
Okay, so the check that I'd like to recognize in our check run this week is to Out of the Cold. They're a really critical community organization that includes a lot of volunteer efforts. They provide overnight housing for people who are homeless in our community. Thus the name Out of the Cold. A number of local churches are very big supporters of this and have opened their doors as well. And Out of the Cold does now have its own building downtown in State College on Atherton Street. But it's really, the contributions from the county help it with its operations, but there's a great deal of volunteer work that goes into ensuring this, that people who are homeless in our community have some place to seek shelter. So, and also a support network. So.
Great.
Yep. So I'll move to approve the check run dated May 5th, 2023.
We have a motion and a second to approve the check run of $1,261,549.78. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. John, do we have an administrator's report?
We do. So, as you know, in Pennsylvania, we like to affectionately say that there are 2 seasons, winter and road work seasons. But there are a lot of construction activities that are occurring within the county, and we thought it'd be a good time to just update folks who may be visiting county offices or facilities, and as well as some of the departments that may be external to Willowbank or the courthouse to know some of the things that are going on. Later this week, the furniture for the Willowbank Library will be delivered, and will be being installed next door. So one of those, the meeting room will be off limits while we're installing the cabinetry. The lobby at Willowbank is being reconfigured, first and foremost for security reasons, but also for better traffic flow of folks that are visiting the Willowbank building. So the reception area will be moved over to the main counter area that was used in the past for different reasons. So that is going on, so we apologize for any disruption that you may see while going through the lobby. We've gone out to bid for the parking lot repaving here at the Willowbank, so parking may be a bit of a more so of a challenge than it is already. So you will be seeing that happening later on into the summer. Valentine Street, the county owns 2 homes that adjoin the Willowbank property, and those houses were deemed, we've reported on this in the past, those have been deemed uninhabitable and of no architectural significance, and the best path forward for the county was to raise those 2 buildings, to demolish them. So those will be happening in short order as well. Over at the courthouse, we are preparing to replace the roof on the 63 addition, which is the uphill side behind the main courthouse structure. So there will be some materials unloading and offloading and things of that nature in that part of the property. There's also a lot of tree work that is occurring at the courthouse. We removed some shrubbery this week and a couple trees that were deemed to be beyond saving. So we will be now looking at doing some stump grinding or stump removal of some of those trees that were taken down. We're also looking to do some rehabilitation on the fountains in front of the courthouse, so there will be a powder coating process that goes with the fountains, and hopefully get those fired back up again here in the near future. And then there will be interior painting that will be occurring at the courthouse. So there will be, again, some light construction activity occurring within the courthouse. Just wanted to give you an update, but those are some of the projects that we're working on besides some of our larger ones that get a lot of attention, but there's going to be a lot of smaller things going on this year as well.
We would like to thank Lee and his facilities department for either doing the work or at least managing it, and working with a lot of small contractors on these smaller projects. Thanks, John. Any questions or comments from the commissioner?
Good to get things spruced up.
Yes, yes.
You refer to it as the 63 edition. Some of us refer to it as the new part.
The new part? Relatively speaking,
Yes.
it is new.
All right, well, we'll move over to Commissioner Dersham now for the, thanks, John. Move over to Commissioner Dersham for the voter registration report.
All right, this morning we stay steady with a total of 99,777 voters on our rolls. It's 42,050 Democratic registrations, 131 Green Party, 603 Libertarian, 13,307 no affiliation, and 40,583 Republican voters, which leads all others at 3,103 voters. I'd like to feature a new party, or at least a newer party, to the rolls, and that is the Italian Party. And the Italian Party is very appropriately named because there's one voter. So it is the Italian Party. So one registration. So we'd like to acknowledge them. And ironically, or actually almost some kind of simpatico thing going on here, we have precinct number 9, which is Milheim Borough, and we were just talking about their swimming pool a little bit ago. And I'd like to recognize Milheim Borough Precinct 9. They vote at the Milheim Fire Hall. And in the last election, there were 625 registered voters, 415 ballots cast, which led to a voter turnout percentage of 66.40, which is pretty good turnout. And just like to say thank you to all the folks that make that happen down there, all our election workers, but at the same time, the Milheim Fire Company for letting us use their facility. So again, thank you. That's my report. And that is the final report before next Tuesday's election. So get out and vote. As everybody knows, we have a week to prepare. And also today is the last day in which you can apply for absentee or mail-in ballot. So today is the deadline for that. So that's my report.
Great. And in related news, our announcement is that the Board of Commissioners meeting next Tuesday, May 16th, has been canceled due to the municipal primary election. Do we have any executive sessions to report or hold, John?
No executive sessions to report or hold.
All right. And there's an election board meeting this afternoon at 1. We have the commissioners meeting at 10 a.m. on Tuesday, salary board happening at roughly the same time. And then for next week, Thursday, the 18th, we'll have a Board of Commissioners meeting and salary board meeting at 10 o'clock. Any questions from the press?
Well, I guess for anybody. How do you stand for staffing for next week's elections? Did you get people for polling places for the count center? Or
Well, we are no longer on the election board, so I can't give you a play-by-play, but I'm sure the folks this afternoon can give you a full update about how everything looks. So we
Yeah.
have to recuse ourselves from the election board on our re-election.
Yeah, I don't know if John can give an update on that. The commissioners are really out of the loop on that one.
We are fully staffed. We actually have plenty of volunteers that have stepped up, so we're in good shape. We're just waiting on more mail-in ballots to arrive. So that's, once we have those, then, we'll go from there.
we got to help one a couple weeks ago for the count center for the mail-ins, but you say that's fully staffed now?
Yeah, that's based on the numbers that are coming back, the number that went out and the number that are coming back in, we're in good shape.
Thank you.
It's wonderful. I'd like to thank the citizens of Center County for stepping up and helping the elections department. We call them volunteers. We pay a little bit, but it's a one-day job, and especially if you're working a polling place, that is a very, very, very long day.
We couldn't do it without them. That is for
No.
sure.
No. Any other questions, Haley, anybody? No? All right, unless there's anything else for the good of the order, I think we can adjourn.
I'll move to adjourn.
We have motion and a second to adjourn at 10:43. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. We are adjourned.